Michelle Powell, and I'm so glad that you joined me as we talk and learn about things that will be beneficial to our health. As Councilwoman for Miami Gardens Residential C3, it is my mission to become and help Miami Gardens become a healthy gardens. With that in mind, Healthy You focuses on giving information that can be beneficial to any resident of Miami Gardens. We are officially in July, and July is the middle of the summer. So I've got a little few tips that might be beneficial to you as we enter one of the hottest seasons. If you have not been cautious about going out and staying hydrated, I would like to remind you not to take hydration for granted. Many students and athletes are doing sports for the summer. They're at camps, they're outside. Please make sure you're packing enough electrolytes as well as water for these students. If you're outside for an hour, you should at least carry a 12-ounce with you. If you're going to be out any longer, you want to have at least 20 ounces. And hydrate repeatedly if you are in the sun because you do sweat. And sometimes one sign that you may be dehydrated is that you're outside and you're not sweating. You're playing sports and all of a sudden there's no sweat coming out of your body. If you become lightheaded, or if someone you're outside with becomes lightheaded or dizzy, very important, get them to a shade, sit them down. If they have fallen down, do not move. First thing you want to do is call for help. Remember the CPR? Call for help. That's the first ABC. If they're secure, they're breathing, someone get help. If available, get a cool compress and put it on their forehead or the back of their neck. Do not try to give somebody water who is unconscious. It could be dangerous because, of course, we're not certain. Is this dehydration? Is this person having a seizure? And not the typical seizure. And we'll probably talk about that in a couple months. But if someone is dehydrated, they've been exposed to the sun, they may, as we say, fall out because of dehydration. Get them cool, get them in a shady area. If there's no shade, try and find somebody with an umbrella. And of course, put that cool compress. When they're able to sit up, then of course, give them some water and preferably some electrolytes. And of course, picnic's over. We need to get back inside and cooling down. Now, what about putting ice on people? Sometimes people say, hey, just pour a bucket of ice on them. That'll cool them down real good. It'll cool them down, but it's not really going to hydrate. Hydrate happens internally. So we have to get as much liquid, not sugar, liquid like water inside the body, and Gatorade, Powerade, Pedialyte as quickly as possible. Which brings us to what's going on in the summer with infections. Everything looks like a cough or a cold or something. Yes, COVID is still with us. And of course, anything that grows in heat will grow. Influenza is still with us. The flu is definitely present. And of course, COVID is still with us. And they all look the same. Runny nose, congestion, cough. Some people are even getting shortness of breath. How do you know what it is? Should I be going to the emergency room? Should I go to my PCP? Should I just wait it out? One sure thing that you can do, isolate. Try not to spread whatever it is, even if you don't have a name. Go home if you're at work, if you're at school, bring that child home, get them in their room, make sure they're hydrated. If they're running a fever, what's a fever? Anything above normal body temperature, 98, 99. If they're in pain, you can add children's Tylenol. If it's a child and adult, you can give them a Tylenol. If a fever does not go down after giving Tylenol, and in fact starts to climb, and the person becomes extremely uncomfortable, maybe lethargic, that is a message to get to a specialist, get to urgent care, get to the emergency room. Real important. Again, we're in flu season, a lot of viruses. Kids are going to camp and they're engaging with other kids. It's very possible that they will contract the flu vaccine, the flu, as well as COVID. Let's talk about a little bit about COVID. I know we'd love to think that COVID is gone to the dust. Unfortunately, that's not true. In fact, COVID is once again on the rise. But of course, COVID has gotten smarter. It's no longer killing people as drastically and as quickly as it did in the past. And it's smart in the sense that it looks just like a cough, a cold, sniffles, runny nose. So if you have a cough, a cold, sniffles, runny nose, and it's going on past 3, 4 days, you can get yourself a home kit and do a COVID test. But is it the flu? Now tests are coming with both tests in them. You can test for the flu and test for COVID at the same time. Why should I bother with all that expense, Dr. Powell? Because they're all contagious. This stuff you can catch from anyone, and it can make your life miserable, not just for a day or two like a 24-hour flu. These are things that can go on for 2 and 3 weeks. And more importantly, if you have someone who's elderly or immunocompromised, someone on chemotherapy, someone who may have Alzheimer's disease, end-stage renal disease, diabetic, heart disease, you do not want people who are infected around them. It can be dangerous, and when I say dangerous, I'm talking can lead to death. Very important. So those are some tips we're talking about summer. Another really important thing, summer safety around water. We hope that everyone knows how to swim. The reality is not everyone knows how to swim. So do not ever, 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 ever leave a child alone, unattended in a body of water. Not to run in to get some watermelon inside, not to get a drink, never. Always have an eye on a child in a swimming pool, even if it's a homemade swimming pool. Make sure someone is always present and aware and paying attention to children in water. If you have the opportunity, I'm asking parents, grandparents to get kids into swimming classes. There are way too many lakes, rivers, and water bodies here in Miami Gardens as well as here in South Florida that water now becomes dangerous. You'd like to go fishing. Great idea, great activity. But again, be cautious and do not leave children unattended to get the bait or tackle out of the car. Make sure they go with you. It's very easy for a child to lose footing, especially in certain water areas, and fall into a river or a lake. So the rule of thumb with the summer and water and children, pay attention and be present. I'm going to move on to another really important topic. And this might be a little controversial. Actually, it is controversial because we currently have someone in office who does not believe in vaccines. Vaccines matter. I'm a doctor and I've been a physician for over 30 years. I'm now your councilwoman for residential C3, but first, I've been a doctor for over 30 years. And I will tell you that vaccines matter. We have a rise in measles, and we'll have mumps soon and chickenpox soon if we are not vaccinating our children. You may, for religious reason, or you may actually not believe in vaccines. But for those of you who really support and believe in the data, believe in the science, believe in the research, and there's been extensive and thousands upon articles that say that vaccines are beneficial. We have eradicated measles, and now it's back at over 800 cases alone in the United States. And why does it really matter? Well, these infectious agents like measles, mumps, rubella, mumps can lead to sterilization. Measles can cause people to get pneumonia and die. And if you're immunocompromised, it can be very dangerous. It occurs frequently in childhood, which means that when kids go into schools or go into colleges, campus dormitories, they will spread these things to other people and make them sick. And we know that if you spent money sending a child to college or they're taking out loans, missing a month, 2 months, 3 months out of your college time can be very, very costly. We also know that meningitis can be found on college campuses. So if you're a child going away to college, one of the requirements will be that your child be vaccinated. If you opt not to have your child vaccinated, you'll be required to submit a form stating that you, for whatever purpose or reason, will not vaccinate your child for meningitis or any other of the requirements for college. So what are some of the requirements and how do you go about it? If you have a child going to college for the first time, they're going to require that child to get a physical examination. In addition, you're going to have to prove immunization. So if you don't have or have no idea where you've hidden the vaccination records, you can go to your doctor's office or the health department and request a copy of the vaccination records. But better than that, what they would like to see is what we call titers. Titers tells the school or your physician whether or not your body still has immunity. So I'm going to rewind and talk about what immunity means. There are two ways you gain immunity. Immunity means your body now has a defense system for an infection. Classic example. We have found that when someone has had chicken pox one time, I mean those little pox that come out all over your body, your head, your scalp, they no longer gets chicken pox. We also know that if we give someone a vaccine against chicken pox, they will not get the breakout. But here's what you can get. Once you've had chicken pox, it stays dormant in your body, and when you get over 50, it may show up in a condition that is called shingles. Eek! Shingles is scary. And it's not scary because it looks pretty ugly. It's scary because it's extremely, extremely painful. And the reason that it's painful is because it develops along what is called the nerve root, the nerve endings, the dermatomes. So along your sides, it can be on your face because there's a large nerve that runs in your face. People can get it in their eye, and unfortunately, it can go to the eye, you can become blind, and it can also spread to the brain. So it can actually kill. So you do not want to get shingles. And there are vaccines available for shingles, and I brought the hideous pictures to show you that if it affects, it can affect your eyes, it shows up on your skin. But the good news is there's actually a vaccine for this. If you're over the age of 50, you can get the shingles vaccine, and that will prevent you getting this painful, hideous infection. And for some people, within 4 weeks, it's gone. But there are a few people that have long-term shingle and it never goes. So every day of their life, they're in excruciating pain, and it's a nerve pain. It's not like a broken toe pain. So if you can, you're over 50 years, please get your shingles vaccine. You can get it in pharmacies now, or you can get it from your doctor's office. So let's screw back to our kids going away to school. The titer. Titer means that your body has developed an immune response. That means if that infection comes back, you're prepared and you won't get sick. So through blood, you can determine whether you have titers to measles, mumps, rubella. You'll be asked from the schools to make sure you're immune against hepatitis. And if you're going and staying in the dorms, they want you to check for meningitis and get the vaccine if you haven't gotten it. Those are the requirements. It's a blood test, and when it comes back, it will show whether you're immune or not immune. If you show that you're not immune, you will be required and requested, unless you sign the papers for religious reasons or whatever reasons you have, to get the vaccine. So first start with the titers, and based on what the titers reveal, get the vaccine. Those are the most common. Then you have kids now who will be starting daycare. Many daycares are requesting that you have vaccines for your children, that they're up to par. How do you know which vaccines to get and when? There's what we call a vaccination schedule that you can find on the CDC website. I'm not going to take the time to go through all of them, because with kids, I always remember 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12, 15, 6, and 13 and 18 years old. those are the time periods where specific vaccines will be required. When babies are little, they don't have an immune system and they have not been exposed to a lot of things. So that's why kids, when they're born, they're getting quite a number of vaccines. And I couldn't even watch my child. I cried. So after that first series, I never took my children to get vaccinated because I would be crying while they're getting shots. So my husband had to take them to get their shots. I was a total wimp. I'm pretty much still a wimp when it comes to vaccinating. So I let my nurses give the shots. But yes, don't miss the shots if your child is going to be in a school environment and in a home environment. Get the series, go to the CDC website, or you can go to the health department and you'll be able to see which vaccines to give and when. Many of the vaccines now are given in groups. You say, why do they have to get so many all at one time? Well, the truth is they really don't. You can get the one group, say 1 month, and then do the next group the next month. And then, of course, it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, as I said, 15, 18, 4 and 5-year-old, junior high, and of course, before college. Make sure they get them. Then we come to, well, what if I just don't want the vaccine for my child? Your school, you have to go into the office and you have to get a form and have that form completed and signed by your physician, saying for whatever the reason is that you don't want your child vaccinated. Please understand, not vaccinating your child runs the risk of that child becoming ill for one of these. And many people are willing to face that because they believe for many reasons. One is that we're designed to build our own immune system. Other people do not trust what is in the vaccines. Vaccines were designed to carry either live or killed parts of, tiny parts of the infection you're trying to build an immune against. And for some people, they do not want anything in their body that is foreign. And so people decide, I do not want anything in my body. Some people are vegan, and they used to, not all vaccines anymore have egg products. And if you are allergic to eggs or you are vegan and you do not eat animals products, you may opt against it. Many of the ingredients also include what is used in Jello. And of course, that comes from the hooves of cows. And again, people say, well, I don't want to have that in my body. And for religious reasons, for belief reasons, you may wish to opt out. And we do have workers who work in hospitals and healthcare facilities and nursing homes who will also be required, if you're going to start a job, to get vaccinated. If you, for, as I said, religious purposes or for other reasons, you will have to complete an opt-out form and have it signed by your doctor. Do understand, private institutions, hospitals, if they're private institutions, schools, if they're private institution, can deny you attendance to their school if they have made a policy that everyone who is in attendance or working must be vaccinated. So understand, they also have that option to exercise, not to have someone in their class that is not vaccinated if they choose to. Can that be a legal debate? Probably, but be prepared and be aware. And finally, I want to talk about our adults and our seniors. What kind of vaccines do you need? I was having a conversation earlier at the senior center. It's like, why do we have to get vaccinations when we're older? The best way I could describe it, you've been fighting your whole life from you're born against invaders. And the immune system is tired and worn out. So all those fighters that you have, their titers or your army has diminished. You get vaccinated to help stimulate more defense. Well, can we do anything natural? And we did have that conversation. How do I keep my immune system so I don't get infections? Number one, stay away from infected people. Exposure increases your risk. If you're going to be around someone or in an environment that like a hospital where there's more infectious people, we are taught precaution. Glove up when exposure to fluids, mask up if you know someone has a respiratory condition, and protect yourself in that manner. And if it's someone as extremely contagious as COVID, we really suit up, right? So avoidance and protection. The other form of protection is, of course, being vaccinated. Another way to support your immune system is what you eat. Junk begets junk. Things that support your immune system, fruits and vegetables, provides a foundation for the immune system. Your B6, your 12, your vitamin C, your zinc, all of the nutrients that help support. And where do you find those? Fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables. You can get a nice lemon, squeeze a lemon in a glass of water, and you'll get your day's worth of vitamin C. You don't have to buy vitamin C over the counter. Eating an orange every day can give you your vitamin C. Having eggs provide your B's for you. You know, eggs a couple times a week. If you're not vegan, provides B for you. You know, eating a lot of vegetables, green vegetables, will provide you the fundamental nutrients for your immune system. And no immune system is healthy without movement. You must move your body. Always remember, still water means death. If you have a still anything anywhere, eventually mold, fungus, and flies is going to develop around it. So you must move. You must exercise 30 minutes a day, move around, even if it's just sitting in a chair and doing yoga on the floor, but you have to circulate. When you circulate the blood, you help to eliminate and clean the blood. And of course, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Drinking lots of water to bathe your body so those those cells are bathed in fluid that they can wash out any toxins per se that have entered or infections that have entered your body. So top 3, avoid infection, prevent, get your vaccines when you can, your nutrition matters, hydration matters. And one thing that most people don't talk about that affects your immune system, stress. Stress is a killer. You know, we don't talk enough about it. But if you're in a very stressful environment and you eat poorly, you're living on coffee, you're not sleeping adequately, you are affecting your immune system. The less sleep you get, the poorer your nutrition, and the constant barrage of being attacked or under the gun affects your immune system. That's why some people, vacation is so essential, or separating, or even at the end of the day, stopping at a park just to breathe, or driving to the beach and just feel the breeze against your skin, are ways to de-stress and detoxify yourself. So those are my pearls for today for the summer. I hope they've been helpful. Take care of your kids and keep them hydrated, and take care of yourself if you're outside. Also, make sure you get vaccinated and take care of your kids who are going away to school. Meningitis is really important. And for our seniors and adults, make sure you get your adult vaccines. If you have any questions, you can always send me some questions in the note section, or send me a note to the city. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. If you choose to opt out, make sure you have your forms filled out correctly. Please join me on August 6th, same time at 1 o'clock, where we're going to be moving into getting ready for the fall season. So I look forward to having you join so you can become healthy. And this is Healthy You, Councilwoman Dr. Michelle Powell.